Welcome back to the I Just Did a Thing series, a creative approach to pivoting and helping you to design revolutionary changes in your life, in your business. I'm Penny, and today I'm going to dig even deeper into the science about why I'm always talking about how it's so important to tap into your creativity so that you never run out of content ideas again. So let's get back into the book, I Just Did a Thing. And we were talking about pivots in the last episode. So what I want to do is I want to take that even further and explain to you the actual science, because there's like real science stuff behind all this. So let me just jump right into this. So let's start with this question. Does the pivot happen inside or outside of us? At first appearance, it always looks like we make a pivot because of things that are happening outside of us, like a loss of a job or getting divorced from a partner who had an affair. It would be easy to feel bad for ourselves and cry or complain to anybody who's going to listen about how unfair life has been. You know, you can always find those people who are going to feed into your emotions, and they're going to support your feelings of hurt and rejection by calling those who fired you or hurt you all sorts of horrible, ugly, yucky names. But that would be admitting that life happens outside of you and not because of you. That would be saying that you can't pivot until all of those things and those people and all of that stuff out there outside your control will do what you want and act like you want and talk the way that you want. When we only look to things outside of ourselves, we're never going to be able to pivot effectively and move in any positive direction. And yeah, I get it. I'm human too. It's not that easy to just snap our fingers and change the way that we think, feel, and act. Most of us spend about 80% of our day reacting to the stress in our lives. We think about the experiences, decide how we're going to feel, spending our day letting what's outside of us determine how we live, especially how we live inside of us and how we're going to deal with it, right? We've trained our brains and our bodies to live in a reactive survival mode to what's happening outside of us. But when you become aware that you're living by reacting, then you can decide to change the way that you're thinking. You actually do have options about how you can respond. You have options like private counseling or working a 12-step program to sort through your internal processing. There's like all kinds of stuff like that. I'm not saying these things won't help you to move through the process, but making the pivot, and I mean a pivot that's really important for you to make this change in your life. Making a pivot, but also know that these options, once again, are outside of you. The 12-step program or the counselor will give you actionable steps to pivot, but to really, really see those different results that you're looking for, you must want it from the inside. You must work a process to discover what's within, and that's how you're going to keep moving forward to make the changes that you want. So what if I told you if there was something inside of you that you, and only you, could control? What if that something I told you about, that once you discovered its presence, that you knew you could find an answer to help you make that pivot? Then once you did, you'd step into the life that you always wanted. Before I tell you about that something that's inside of you, let me tell you a story about a good friend of mine named Debbie and what happened when she made a personal pivot. Debbie had been participating in Alcoholics Anonymous program for over 8 years. She's so involved with AA that she actually leads local meetings and is a sponsor to many people in our community. Throughout her years in AA, Debbie moved through the steps to train herself how to react to her outside world without using alcohol as her coping device. She participated in every single one of the 12 steps of the program to help her develop an inner peace, an inner sense of peace. She learned how to teach her brain to manage any outside stress without thinking that she needed a drink to make herself feel better. The changes she intentionally made within herself became apparent when she found herself in an angry interaction with her sister during a Christmas dinner at Debbie's house. The argument was over something trivial, yet my friend couldn't shake the uncontrollable feelings within her about her disagreement with her sister. She actually shared this whole story with me and told me about what had happened to her. And I'm going to share it with you. She later worked the AA program steps to help her identify the source of those feelings, which then allowed her to move back into her peaceful state of mind. But it was more than just this program, and later an apology from her sister, and that's playing in this scenario. And I want you to be aware of this. You got to understand this part. This is really, really important, folks. Debbie had just spent years of this program, basically reprogramming her brain and her body to react differently to what was happening outside of her. And when something came up that went against her now calm, peaceful interior, her body and later her brain sent her messages internally that this argument wasn't the norm. There's something going on here. Pay attention. We're trying to get your attention. And I think you all know what I'm talking about when you have those feelings, when you internally, the anxiety, the flipping of your stomach, something like that. It's your body telling you as loud as it possibly can, there is something going on here. Please pay attention. Now, I get it. We all deal with different pressures and problems outside of our bodies, but until we're really able to make a significant changes inside of us, we'll never see the results that we're searching for. So I want to teach you this process. I want you to learn how to use creativity to take that deep path within your brain to help you move through what I'm referring to as your pivotal journey. Whether this is in your life, whether this is in your business, or whether when we talk about our content development, which we will be doing in later videos, I want to stress to you how important it is to use the creativity. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what's happening in your body and what this has to do with making your pivot. Throughout the time that we're together in the I Just Did a Thing series, I'm going to refer to scientific reasons about why certain things happen as I show you how to use creativity to come out of your pivot, an even stronger place than when you entered. The lesson what we're going to be talking about today is about what's happening in your brain is the first thing that I want to talk about because it sets the foundation for the groundwork about what you're going to use to make this pivot in your life. Because when it comes to your brain, there's actually, and this is really fascinating, folks, there's no difference between the feeling of pure happiness or pain. Those emotions activate the same area of our brain called the limbic system or the emotional brain. That is the right side of our brain. This is the part of the brain that protects us from danger and pain. It's often referred to as flight or fight. When we find ourselves in a place of danger, the limbic system kicks in and makes our bodies either run or keeps us safe or puffs out our chest to encourage us to fight our way out of the situation. The limbic system isn't just for protection, though. It's the same place where we experience those feelings that we get when we feel love or other warm and welcoming emotions. It's those strong emotions that when we meet the person of our dreams, when we hold our baby for the first time after giving birth, or we're playing on a floor in a room full of puppies. It's that overwhelming feeling of pure love where it feels like our heart is just going to burst wide open. This is the part of our brain that is just pure emotion. Located within the emotional brain is something called the hypothalamus. And this is the part of our brain that actually creates chemicals in the body called peptides. These peptides are connected to every thought and feeling, good and bad ones. The more intense your emotions are, the more frequently the peptides are produced for those thoughts and feelings. These peptides are then sent to the cells of the body, thus explaining why when we feel emotions, we can also feel some sort of vibrational energy or pain in a certain part of our body. For example, when you hear somebody say that they got their heart broken, they'll tell you that they feel a pain or a heaviness in their heart. These are the peptides heading in that direction of our body. It's important to understand that these peptides act like chemical addictions within our body, looking for an exact match of every good or bad emotion that we're feeling. And your body has no preference over feeling the good peptides like love and happiness versus the bad peptides we feel with anger, fear, or rejection. Your body can't tell the difference between the good or the bad. The cells are simply looking for that addictive feeling of the peptides. The stronger the emotion, whether good or bad, the more your body craves the cycle of that chemical addiction. The brain becomes conditioned to think these thoughts to create more peptides in the body. And it doesn't matter if the thoughts are positive or negative, the body is just looking to get its next hit of peptides. So knowing this, and knowing this is how your body acts, would you choose doing more of what makes you feel good and makes you happy, rather than thinking about the bad memories or the rejection of losing that job? Understanding this is the starting point to how you're going to make a revolutionary pivot in your life or your business. It's about making the choice to spend more of your time living in those happy moments and those feelings, of learning how to open the emotional part of your brain to experience more feelings of happiness, and learning how to create for the pure joy of creating. Everyone here who's listening to me now has been brought to this place, to this moment, to find your way through your pivot, to be the best that you can be. So I encourage you to listen to this series, to listen to these videos, and listen what I'm telling you. I encourage you to be open to a new way of thinking. I want you to breathe in all the positive possibilities and exhale all those negative beliefs that you hold on to. Be open to this journey as I guide you through new and different steps to more ways to feel good in your life through creativity. Be open to trusting the fact that the opportunities and the ideas that come to you are your path forward to living that life that you've always wanted. And using your creative energy to make this pivot means no more than just wanting to make a change. It's about changing the way you deal with what's going on externally. It's not to do but one time, but to be consistent with those new behaviors so you can spend more time feeling joy. So thank you for joining me today. I look forward to meeting you all. I look forward to talking to you some more about this as we dig in even deeper. The next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about your content development and how what I just shared with you about the peptides and how I shared with you about pivots is directly connected to how you can tap into your creativity and never run out of content ideas again. Thank you so much.